Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Big Brother 19 LFC Draft. We've got something great for you today. I am your host, Taran Armstrong, and also the undefeated grand champion of these LFC drafts. Never been defeated, and it's not going to start today. No, it's not. My victims this season are my great friends in the LFC. First is Alex Kidwell. How you doing, Alex?
I'm fine, Taran. I refuse to be a victim, especially to you.
I'm just hearing a lot of victim noises. Hearing lots of victim noises from you, Alex. Also with me is Brent Walgamont. How you doing, Brent?
I'm doing great. I am so here to take your ass down. I lost the RuPaul's Drag Race contest because I picked Shea Coulee, and she ended up losing because of some crazy finale. So I'm here for the Big Brother one. I'm gonna take it this time.
All right. Finally, the living proof of my draft prowess is Melissa Denny. How you doing?
Now I feel bad for winning because I just helped you. So great. Thanks, Taran. God. Well, you know what? I'm trying to set myself up for a win this year by joining as many drafts as possible and drafting a wide variety of people so that in at least one draft I might win.
All right. I feel like if anyone's going to take me down, it'll be Melissa. The apprentice, betraying and taking over the master kind of thing.
I came very close with Dimitri's.
You did. You did.
So
yes.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
All right. So how this draft works is we are each going to draft 4 players. We're going to do it in a snake draft. So it'll go the first person, second person, third person, fourth person, and then fourth person again to the third, second, first, so on and so forth. It's a must-win draft. So you have to have the winner on your team. There are no points, no shady business. It's all about the winner. You just have to have the winner on your draft. That's all you need. So we have the chat room open on RHAP-ups.com. You can send in questions to me on Twitter at ArmstrongTaran if you so desire. And let's get into this. I do think there are a couple things that we might want to talk about briefly before we start this draft. A couple, new things that have come up in the Big Brother rumor mill before the season starts. We've heard that there might be a returning player coming as a 17th house guest. I know, Alex, you have a lot of you love rumors. So what do you think about this?
Well, something I've heard lately today, the rumors there's 4 returning house guests, and it's like Vanessa and Paul and Shelby and somebody.
Frankie.
I forget who the other one.
Frankie.
Yeah, right. It's just like, yeah, they're putting
That's
20
not happening.
people in there, folks. Sure, they're doing that. Okay, come on, at least come at me with something semi-believable. The Paul one, I'll give it to you. There's one person, but you totally lost me once you said 4 and start throwing out I have on good authority. No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yes, to set this up, there is a rumor, and it came from Hamster Watch, usually a very reliable source.
Yes.
She says that this isn't totally confirmed. It's just something interesting that she's heard. It may or may not be true. And it seems somewhat plausible that they might want to bring Paul back. But the rumor is that Paul may be a 17th house guest, maybe part of the Temptation twist, or maybe he's just there in the beginning as part of a Temptation twist, but not an actual player. Who knows? It could be any one of those things. I think safe to say not too many people want to see a returning player join this cast. I think I myself, at the very least, I'm very excited about this all new player cast. I'd be good if we didn't have any returning players. I think this cast is great as it is. I don't think we need somebody like Paul, who's going to eat up a lot of screen time to kind of throw a wrench into that. Are you with me, Melissa?
I am very with you on this. As much as I loved Paul during his season, I just don't want to see him back. Unless it's for an All-Stars. I don't like the idea of having some returning players or some not returning players. I liked how BB Can did it when they had half and half. I thought that was kind of cool, but I don't like the idea of having just a couple returning players here and there interspersed. Not a great fan of that idea, although if the rumor is true and we've got Vanessa and Shelby and Paul and Frankie back, I actually could be kind of down for that, but I doubt that that's they're doing.
Stop it. Don't you say that. Don't you put that out there.
Sorry, but I feel like I would like to see those people again to play. So
all right, so let's have an All-Star season. Let's not waste them on a newbie season. Come on.
I just don't see them doing an All-Star season ever at this point. So I don't know, if we can't get them back for an All-Stars, might as well get them back. Period.
Stop it.
Melissa, we need to stay strong. We can't break the chain. We need to protest.
I know.
I know.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
Don't be the weak link here. Show solidarity.
Another thing worth mentioning, I think is worth mentioning, the CBS poll for most memorable house guest has come down to Dan Giesling and Jordan, and Dan's winning. Dan's killing it. Dan's going to win the most memorable house guest on the CBS poll.
Well, you should. They reference him every season. They don't reference like Will anymore, but they're like, oh, you're the Dan this season. Oh, you're the Dan. Like, that's because that's the only person you know that played the game well, because you've only watched 3 seasons when you go on there.
He's a game changer.
And they give him. They always give him 14. They give him the tape.
Okay, so let's get started. We need to pick the draft order. Before the show started, I tried to pass this off to somebody else and let them do it, but I was told, no, I have to pick the order because I won last time.
The reason why we protested that is because we don't want any shenanigans of you saying, well, I would have won, but I the draft order is somebody else.
That's
we want to win
no matter what. I am going to find some excuse for why I lost if I lose. You realize?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I wouldn't protest that because I know Taran's going to do that anyway.
Yeah, I would have figured you would have taken all the help you could get. So, all right. So, with that in mind, I will pick the draft order. I will go Melissa first, because she's the one that's going to take me down. Then I'll do Brent. And then myself, and then screwing Alex over yet again.
Yep.
As last.
See, I feel like you know I'm your greatest threat, and that's why you keep doing this. I'm so close. I'm nipping at your heels, sir.
This kind of ruins my whole strategy going into this, because I assumed that I wasn't going to be first, so I already didn't count any of the first people. I was like, okay, this one's going to be picked, this one's going to be picked, and I'm going to be left with these people, so I'm going to choose from these people. Well, now my order's all messed up, Taran.
Yeah, that's what. No, I didn't want to give Taran the choice, because if Taran's making the order and there's a cast that has more than 1 or 2 decent choices to win, he's never going to put himself first, and it's smart.
Exactly. Yeah.
You give himself more equity, because by the time it gets back to you,
oh my God! I've heard more whining on the RuPaul's Drag Race podcast. Let's go.
You mean less?
All right. So
now this isn't gonna make any sense, but I feel like I'm gonna stick to my guns and just pick the choice that I was gonna. All right. Sorry, you've thrown me for a loop, Taran.
I'm just hearing lots of victim noises now.
Solid with just making victim noises.
Yeah, I'm hearing lots of victim noises. Yes.
Yeah, well, that's kind of my thing. So, so should I just go then?
Go for it. Who's your first pick?
Right.
You have the entire cast, Melissa. There's no
I
pressure.
don't like this. Okay. I think that people are not going to understand my choice, but you know what? I'm going to go with my gut and do it anyway. I'm going to pick Jessica.
Ooh.
Oh no, I totally understand that one. She's number 1 on my draft. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Go ahead, Melissa. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna pick her because I feel like she has Janelle upside. I think that initially I, kind of overlooked her when the cast pictures came out, because I felt like she's just a pretty girl who's really just there for her looks. But I think that after hearing her interviews, that she's very smart. And I think that she's got a good head on her shoulders. She is a fan of the show and has been watching for a long time. So she's not just some recruit who has no idea what's going on. She already knows the game going in. She's been watching with, I think she said her mom or her grandma or someone. Anyway, she seems very easy to get along with. In her interviews, she was easy to talk to and made funny jokes and went back and forth. And so she also looks athletic, so I think she could win comps. So I'm going with Jessica.
Wow, that's a good pick. I had Jessica as sort of like a dark horse. I figured nobody else would be that interested in her, and she would be somebody I could pick up ezy. But apparently not. Apparently she was first on Gensport as well. I
get used to hearing you're wrong.
I think she has potential. I think that she knows the game. I think that she's obviously a very social person. My fear with her, maybe she doesn't fit in with the other house guests here. I think she comes from probably a different lifestyle. So I don't know if she's going to be able to relate to them super well. but I think her natural social ability and the fact that she does seem like very intelligent, I definitely would not overlook Jessica. Brent, you're obviously high on her as well. What did you think?
Yeah, I really thought that she had a quiet confidence about her that I thought would serve her well in this house. She's a fan of the show. She didn't seem like someone who is going to be bothered by many of the things that take place in the Big Brother house. She's at least going to be familiar with them. The fact that people don't wash the dishes, the fact that people get messy, the fact that people are loud at night and you can't sleep sometimes when you want to. All of these things I think are that trip up other house guests, and I don't feel like that she is going to have problems with that. She's obviously a very attractive girl. She says she's not here for a showmance, but I feel like that she could be induced into one, or at least get on one, if she, to coin a phrase, if she felt like it was going to better her game. I don't feel like she's afraid of that or averse to that. The other thing is that as Melissa noted, she has Janelle upside to me. So the fact that she likes Janelle as a player, not many people bring up Janelle anymore, but I freaking love Janelle. So how can I not get behind this girl? I feel like that the way she speaks is someone who sounds like an adult. She does not sound like a child to me. And I feel like in this kind of a house with a median age that's above where we have seen it in the past few seasons, I feel like that will continue to serve her well.
I agree. Alex, did you have any thoughts on Jessica before we move to the next pick?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I like her too. I wasn't down on her. I think I like her even more in the modern age of Big Brother, where it seems like likability is something that we should actually be taking into account to a degree. I think she's someone that fans could get behind. I mean, we saw last year, like, it's so huge to have the fans behind you. Like, a care package totally ruins, like, people's games. You know what I mean? Like, so if you're getting the care package, like, that really matters in this thing. And I think she's someone that I could see getting care packages. I could see winning competitions. And it doesn't seem like she's going to, like, play her way out with stupidity. So just based on those factors alone, I mean, she's a perfectly fine pick.
All right. Brent, you're next up. Who is your first pick of this draft?
I know people are not going to understand this one either. I think I'm already talking like Melissa, where people aren't going to understand where I'm coming from. But I feel like people really won't understand where I'm coming from on this one. But I'm going to pick the person who makes me the happiest, and that person is Josh. Josh. Give me Josh. I don't care that you guys think he's not going to last very long. I don't care about any of that stuff. As long as he's in the house, I feel like he has a chance to win. He's a huge fan of the show. The fact that Ika Wong was talking to him and he knew who Ika was and what she had done on her season, meaning he'd actually watched Big Brother Canada and yelled into the camera that Kevin Martin had denied a queen and robbed her of her win. I mean, how can I not be here for somebody like that? If he ends up being able to calm himself down, I know for the first 48 hours, he's probably going to be like a child bouncing off the walls. That's how he was in his interview with Jeff. But once he calms down, I do feel like he's going to play a really good game. I feel like there's a lot of upside to him. I know there's a lot of tragic downside to him, and I don't think he's someone that Alex or Taran would have picked. So you can argue maybe I shouldn't have picked Josh, but I want to pick the team that makes me happiest, and Josh just gave that to me. In his interview with Jeff, it just spoke to me like, oh my God, they cast a fan on the show, and not just a fan, somebody that has personality and spark. They cast super fans on the show like Christine, but she was like watching wallpaper in the house. Josh is anything but that. He's going to give us great feeds. And do I think he has a chance to win? Probably a small chance to win. But I do feel like he's going to give us a lot of fun in the house. And if he ends up winning, here's the thing. I have to be happy with I want my cake and I want to eat it too. Like, I want to beat Taran, but I also want to be happy that the person won. So I'm never going to pick somebody, well, I don't want to say, but I'm never going to pick somebody that I'm going to be unhappy with winning just to beat Taran. Like, I have to have both, and Josh gives me both.
Just setting him up for another win.
So, Alex, what do you think about Josh? Do you feel like this is a bad decision by Brent here?
I think he might have Jose'd it up again. It's possible. Not out of the realm of possibility.
I mean, I think
Brent nailed it. It's a high variance pick. Like, he could do well, but I mean, there's every chance he flames out spectacularly, and we know that.
I think people are underestimating Josh's potential. Not necessarily for a win, but I do think I could easily see Josh lasting quite a while. He doesn't seem like the type that's going to like be so crazy that people can't even anticipate his moves. I think he's just going to be seen as like, oh, that's Josh. He's a big character. Like, we don't need to be too worried about him. We don't need to like actively gun after him. It's not like Devin where he's like crazy about the game. He's just like a crazy person in general. So that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to make erratic moves. And if he's not making erratic moves, then I don't think that people are going to be like actively targeting him a lot. And I do think that Josh is a great example of a big fan of the show that is also super interesting. And people are always talking about like, oh no, we can't cast fans. We can't cast people who know the show because they're not going to be interesting. Josh proves that wrong. And I want more people like Josh. What do you think, Melissa?
No, I agree. And I think that initially when I saw his Jeff interview, I was like, okay, he has like first boot potential. But then after seeing his other interviews, I don't think he's the type of person who is going to have such a big personality that it rubs people the absolute wrong way. He seems like he's got a big personality where he's more entertaining and fun. And I don't see that as someone that people want to just immediately kick out because they're like so frustrated with them. And that's usually what the first boot is just someone who's, you know, gotta go. They don't want to live with them. So I'm thinking that he has a good chance of going pretty far. Because, you know, you've seen recently that big personalities can go really far. I mean, look at Paul, look at, you know, Ika. So it's not necessarily a death sentence to have a big personality.
I agree. All right. I am the next pick here, the number 3 pick overall. There's a big part of me that just wants to snipe Matt from Alex. I definitely want to do that in the same way that I snatched Kevin from his clutches. And I feel like that would be a poetic way to win yet again. But with somebody like Cameron still on the board, I just feel like statistically, going by the numbers, I've gotta take the shot with Cameron, especially with somebody like what's his name?
I love it. Karen's being so distracted by Alex in the background going, yes, yes, yes.
Ramses. Somebody else like Ramses. I feel like Ramses is going to take the hit of I'm the super fan nerd. And I really appreciate the fact that Cameron is very conscious of the fact that that's going to be his biggest complication going into the game. I really, looking at somebody like Cameron, I think he's got great potential. He knows the game. He knows what he needs to be doing. And he's also recognizing the fact that people are going to see me as a threat because of the Ian thing. And I'm going to do my best to actively avoid putting off that vibe as much as I can. That's what I want to hear from Cameron. He's telling me all the right things. And it is sort of similar to, when I saw Kevin preseason, where again, Kevin told me all the right things, then he played all the wrong ways. And that could easily go the same way with Cameron. But I've got to take the shot here. He's there. He's on the board. If I didn't, I'd be kicking myself. So I'm gonna go with Cameron here. What do you think about that pick, Alex? You're super happy I didn't steal Matt from you, right?
Well, yeah, I just didn't want to have to root against Matt, so I'm glad that you didn't do that. So yeah, no, that's fine. Go ahead and take Cameron. I think I probably wouldn't have taken him with one of my two, so I'm cool with that. But he definitely could win again. I mean, you look at him and people are like, "Oh, here we go again." So
yeah. Well, I feel like people
thing, it's not impossible.
Yeah, because people said the same thing about Steve, too. They were like, oh, not again, not another Ian or whatever. He's not going to win. And then, I mean, look what happens. So it's totally possible. I'm kind of surprised by the pick that, Taran always ends up winning. So whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hard to question his judgment at this point.
I like Cameron. I do worry that he gets tagged with the superfan label. I mean, it could be either him or Ramses, but I think there's a huge chance it could be Cameron. That's why I wasn't going to take him. The thing that I did like about him the most was that he was referencing like, if this thing happens, this is what I do. If this happens, this is what I do. I worry though that in a game like Big Brother, where you're supposed to expect the unexpected, even though by saying that, I think Cody said this in one of his interviews, if you're told to expect the unexpected, then you should expect it. But I don't feel like there's any real way to prepare for it. If something like the Den of Temptation comes into the game, how is he going to interact with something like that? He's predicted all of these things in his bio and in his interviews with Jeff and a few other sources where he said, this is my game plan, this is what I'm going to do. But with this twist in the beginning of the game, is he going to be able to maneuver himself into an alliance where he's part of the wheel, one of the spokes, as he says? Or if he's at the bottom, is he going to be able to talk to the HOH and make sense to them? Sometimes when you're talking to the HOH and trying to show how he's going to benefit their game, if it's somebody like Gina Marie, like he notes, then they're not going to necessarily respond well to logic. They might respond well to something else like fear. He does have that in his tool bag, but I don't know if he's going to be able to execute it very well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is sort of a high variance pick, but just going by numbers, I feel like this kind of character is more likely to win than most other kinds. So so Cameron's my pick here, and I very much appreciate people in the chat saying that this is a terrible pick and that I'm slipping, because I was worried that people would be too confident in me, because nobody's ever confident in my drafts until I win in the end. So please continue to think I'm doing terribly. And Alex, you've got the next pick. So who is your number 1 pick, the 4th overall in this draft?
All right, I'll just go ahead and get it out of the way and take Matt. I think Matt's gonna do well. Like, even if I didn't like know exactly what Matt does for a living, and kind of, you know, have respect for kind of the fact that he's able to work in a very tough industry and this kind of thing that, like, I think actually lends itself well to Big Brother. I would probably still like him just from the bios and stuff, but given that I've worked for the company he works for, like, I know kind of like how hard it is, how demanding it is, and like the kind of sales you have to do, like the kind of pitch work you have to do every day. Like, I feel like even if he's not a Big Brother fan, like, I'm just pretty confident those skills are going to translate. So I like what I see, and I don't want to have to, like I said, if he was on Taran's team, I'd have to actively like hope he doesn't win, and I don't want to do that. So let's just go ahead and get him out of the way, get him on my team, and we'll move on from there.
I like the I totally would have liked him if I didn't know him beforehand. Like, that's like it's like telling your girlfriend, like, oh no, I totally would have liked you if we weren't already dating. That's totally something.
Yeah.
Brent,
well,
I know
Jeff
you have strong
likes him.
feelings about Matt.
Yeah, a lot of people are worried that he's going to bro down. I think it's the opposite of that, based on what Alex is telling me. As far as like his inability to go long without female companionship, I feel like he's going to get into a showman's pretty quickly and be part of a 1-2 package. I really could see Matt and Jessica getting together, so to speak, and running this game. That would be fun for me, because I feel like it's like 6 degrees of separation. Like, I know a guy who has a friend who has a friend who knows Matt, you know, that kind of thing. And I also love Jessica as well, so I feel like I'd be there for that. On the other hand, I do worry that he might annoy people a little bit too much if he's a little bit too bro-y. Like, I think Alex said in one of our, was it private chat or maybe it was on Twitter, but I know you're cool with me saying it. Like, you think he's the frattiest guy that you know, or that you're somehow, you know, separated.
He might be the frattiest guy I know. Like, my frattiest friend's frattiest friend is what I said.
Yes, that's what you said. Yes, your frattiest friend's frattiest friend. Exactly.
It's possible.
So I worry that could rub people the wrong way, but other than that, I have a complete faith in his ability, and he's a great pick. He's someone that I had ranked very high as well.
Yeah, I feel like he has potential. I'm really wary of his lack of knowledge of the game, especially with a cast that is fairly familiar with the game. I feel like he's probably going to get left behind a little bit in terms of strategy. I think he's socially very, very up there in terms of like the cast. I think that he's going to do very well in terms of getting along with people. I'm mostly concerned about how quickly he actually picks up the strategy of what he should be doing, and if he comes out too strong, or if he feels like, oh, I'm going to be making these cool moves and then it just totally blows up in his face. That's kind of where I see Matt going. So, you know, I'm not super high on Matt. I'm hopeful. I'd love to see Matt be like this really great, suave, like charismatic dude that like does really well. But and I know that's how Alex wants to see him, because he's got hearts in his eyes. But we'll just have to see. Melissa, what did you think about Matt?
Yeah, I agree. My biggest concern about him is his lack of knowledge of the game. But he seems very easy to get along with according to his interviews, and he's also athletic. So, and he's got Alex's seal of approval. So, gotta go.
Well, I feel like anybody tangentially connected to Alex would get Alex's seal of approval. Let's be fair.
It's true. Yeah, if you're thinking about applying for Big Brother, like, reach out to me first, and yeah, you might get. Yeah, I got your back.
You'll have Alex singing your praises all season long.
That's right. Hey, you know,
no matter what you do,
the formula exists now. You know, so holla holla.
All right, Alex, you have the next pick as well, the number 5 pick here. Who are you gonna go with?
Okay, so I think I'm going to go with a pick that I certainly haven't seen the chat room mention it, so this might be unexpected for some people. I'm going to take Megan. I really liked what I saw from Megan in a lot of respects with the interviews. And, you know, I think something that I always look to is which former players do you like the most? Because to me, that tells me what kind of a strategy you idealize, like what you think is idealistic gameplay, what you saw as something you may want to emulate, or something that you looked up to. Even maybe you're not thinking I'm going to go in playing like Brendan if you say Brendan was your favorite, but in the back of your head you're like, well, Brendan did this thing and I really loved when he did that. So like I think that does influence. That's one of the the bio things I look at the most. And I really think like of all the people who are mentioning favorite past house guests, like there's a lot of like just some questionable ones. And I think Megan really just shows from what she's saying, like, I mean, granted, she mentions Paul, Victor, and Frank, but she definitely is a fan of the game. Like she's, you know, granted, she says Frank was in season 16, and that's not true. But we know she's a fan. I mean, especially her interview with Ike, I think is more illuminating in terms of just like what she knows about the game. And I think like she's actually, you know, one of the more cerebral, more intelligent members of the female side of this cast for sure. I don't even think that's in doubt. So I think she probably will do okay socially. She'll be able to fit in. She's in that right age range where it shouldn't be too hard for her to just like get in with the other girls like Elena and Jessica if she wants. And if, you know, if she's able to do that, or if she's able to work with the guy, I mean, she's got options, and I think she knows what to do once she's in with the group. So I'm bullish on Megan's chances.
Yeah, I like Megan as well. I did think that she was one of the more impressive people. Melissa, what were you thinking about Megan?
Yeah, I mean, I was going to pick her too. She's a fan of the show, which is huge. She seems to have done her homework because she watched our video, so that's great. She also watched a bunch of other Big Brother videos before she went in because she liked them on YouTube. And, you know, I maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think she said she used to be a cop. So that I think is good because, you know, you got Derek, he used to be a cop. You know, you got a bunch of cops who do well on these shows. And as long as she keeps that under wraps, I mean, right now she's going as a dog walker. So I think people are totally going to underestimate her. And I think she's a lot smarter than she lets on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also on board with this pick. I think she's very interesting. She's somebody that I could find myself rooting for really fast. The one thing that I noted that there's a lot of women in this cast who are not here for the female alliances. She's also one of them. She's going to find herself the biggest guy in there and make him her gym buddy. So, I mean, that could be somebody like Cody. That could be somebody like Matt. I mean, I don't know who she's going to cling on to, so to speak, but she seems to want to take what I would call the safer path for most females, which is to align yourself with a few of the men in the house, get them out, and then make your way to the end. You know, the female alliance thing hasn't really worked. So, I mean, it seems like every year they try to push the female alliance thing and it never works. I feel like that the fact that no one's really pushing it this year, this might be the year it actually works. So let's see what happens. But I'm on board with Megan, and I think she's going to be very fun, if not win this game.
Yeah, Megan. Megan's another one. I really felt like nobody else is going to be on to Megan. I'll take Megan somewhere down the line. So good pick on Alex. I like this pick. All right, so I'm next here. This is a tough one for me because some of my backup picks are gone. I'm kind of torn here. I don't want to say between who, just in case this person makes it all the way through.
Oh my God.
4 picks. But I think I'm gonna go with Mark here. Yeah, I talked about Mark in the men preview for RHAP, and I'm not super solid on his winning chances, but I do see him going kind of far. I think that I think that he's very personable. He's very likable. He has a way of like looking at you that just like makes you feel special.
Taran.
Yeah.
Taran's in love.
He told me that he doesn't ever really do this, but he came up to me and he talked to me. It was great. If you watch the Ica interviews, you know what I'm talking about. I feel like there are a lot of guys in here that want to work with guys. I think that Mark is somebody that all of those guys are going to be very, very easily attached to. He's also going to totally fall hard for a girl, right? Like he's totally going to. He talks about women are my weakness. I'm totally going to fall for someone. She's going to make me cry. Like I think he'll get along with the girls as long as he doesn't come off too strong. As long as he's not like a Caleb, I think he'll be able to get along with the girls. The guys will want to bring him in because he'll seem enough like a bro. Again, I'm not sure about winning, but I do think he'll be in there a long time toward the end, and so he may have a shot to just kind of, comp his way out to the end and then win because he's likable. So there we go. I've got Mark there. What do you think about Mark, Brent?
I think he's interesting. The fact that he references Brendan from seasons 12 and 13, I thought was really, really cool. I mean, I hope he knows who that guy is and he didn't just watch it right before he
No,
Right.
he's a fan. He's a fan of the show. He's been watching for a long time.
Okay, right, exactly.
I feel like they give them 12 and 13 a lot, so yeah, it's hard to know. For
Okay,
sure.
well, anyway. Go ahead. Sorry.
He said he's been watching since high school, and he also talked about some other past house guests.
Yeah.
Another thing that really made me high on him was he did talk about Derek and Cody, and he talks about like how great they were at the game, and like I mean that's obvious, but not many other people talked about some of the greater players. So it's something, right?
Right. I respond to more of the stronger personalities just from like a TV show watching perspective. He seemed a little bit quiet for me. So maybe, it's possible he may have more upside as a potential winner, but he's somebody who I could personally be bored by really quickly. And I hope I'm wrong about that. But I can see where you're coming from, but he's not somebody I necessarily would have taken.
All right, Alex, are you feeling Mark, or are you down on this?
Yeah, no. If you'd have taken Matt, I was going Megan and Mark. Like, of course, you're thinking on similar wavelengths as per usual. It's so tired at this point. Just kidding. No, I think Mark. I've got a good one. Yeah, Drew Daniel upside, Kyle Shore downside. How about that?
Okay. All right.
That's pretty good range for you.
No, I was gonna pick Mark too. So I'm a fan of Mark. I think the fact that he's a fan of the show and he's been watching for a long time, so he's not just saying he's a fan. And he's athletic. He seems very easy to talk to. He seems very likable and easy to get along with. So I think that he could really go far in the game, and I think people would want to bring him into an alliance. So I think he's a good pick. I'm very jealous.
I will say I am scared, and I've mentioned this on the Men Preview podcast. I am scared that like this is kind of how I saw Devin preseason. So
yeah, so did I.
Calm, cool, collected until
he was like this big guy that seemed like, oh, you seem really chill. You talk like a surfer, like,
oh, no.
And then no, man. So who
David
knows?
Girton talked like a surfer too. We saw how that worked.
Yeah. All right. So Brent, you've got the next pick here. Who are you gonna go with?
Yes, I wanted to make sure that I had the chat room open when I made this pick. I have to pick this one because between a couple of things that I read in the bio and then one particular picture that I just can't get over, I have to pick King Cody, you guys. I just do. I love Cody. I'm sorry. I know, and I know Melissa and I are like in the same boat. We're both liking Cody, and no one understands why we like Cody. Well, it's probably a little different for me. I just think he's really, really hot, and I can't actually look past that. And the fact that his bio, this is the thing, you guys don't understand. In his bio, okay, he says that he's going to, like they said, what would you take into the house and why? He says, my silky shorts, the short Marine Corps PT shorts, which he's wearing in the picture that I tweeted a couple days ago that makes him look unbelievably hot. So how can I not like this guy? Look, besides all of that extraneous stuff, I will say that I liked what he said in his bio about, and in his interviews, setting aside the whole thing about the victim noises for a second, which I think was a bit of a put on, actually. The whole thing about him making sure that he's not going to be in a pawn position, that he's always going to be the one asking the questions, and he's going to make sure that when people are talking, he makes them think what he wants them to think, but that it becomes their own opinion, if that makes sense. That's a lot what Derek did, where he talked to people, they would form an opinion, but it was really an idea that he incepted into their head. He has seemingly good strategy to me, which is that the overbearing people are going to shoot themselves in the foot. The one thing that I thought was like fake news was him getting rid of the floaters, that he wants to face warriors and champions at the end. I'm like, I don't believe that for a second. If he has a chance to get out a target, he's going to take the floaters with him, I think anyway. And the one thing I do worry about is that he is a bit of an old soul. Like, he likes to sleep. He likes to do things his way. Obviously, the Big Brother house is going to be challenging, but he seems personable and sweet enough that I feel like he's going to be able to get along with people. I do feel like a lot of the stuff that you guys are screaming about on Twitter, I feel like it's a bit of a put on. And once he gets in the house, you're going to see who the real guy is. I hope so. Otherwise, I'm going to look like Jose all over again.
Yeah, that's what I'm hopeful for too. I really hope that he's like kind of getting this whole attitude, I guess, in the interviews, but that when he goes in the house, it'll be very different, because sometimes people don't really do well in like a one-on-one interview situation, but they do well when they're just interacting socially with people. So I'm hopeful for that. I'm hopeful that the victim noises thing isn't a continuing thing. I hope he kind of like gets over that. And I think that it's a little understandable maybe that the whole alpha male thing, because he's in the Marines, or he was in the Marines. So maybe that's something he adopted during that time. I don't know, but it kind of makes it more understandable. Also, he is a fan of the show. He says he's been watching since season 1. So I was very impressed by that. Although I didn't quite like his super fan comments where he was like, well, let me make this clear. I am not a super fan. I'm not one of those dweebs. And I was just like, oh, yeesh. It's not a great thing to say, but okay. But I'm very, very upset that I don't get to pick Cody.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so here for him. Like, here's the thing. I tend to gravitate towards the alphas. I don't know if that says more about me as a person, but from a fan watching point of view, I like the alphas because they make things interesting. They're never boring when you're watching them on the show. They're always giving you something to talk about, and I like to be entertained. So there you go.
But I also see a Pauly situation.
Yeah, I do too. But
So,
that's
like,
okay. I read it for Pauly in the
situation.
beginning as well, and then I quickly turned on him. So
I know, that's what I'm
not
thinking.
above turning on my own draft person.
I'm thinking that might happen, and at least it'll be entertaining. I don't know. We've got that.
Alex, Brent said something that I thought was interesting. Alex, do you think that this is a put on by Cody, this victim noises stuff? Is he playing this up for the interviews to is he still on this no?
Definitely not. No. I think he's just he's trying to think of he's being real in that moment. I think he's actually honestly trying to answer questions, and he maybe even surprised himself by what comes out of his mouth, because I don't know that he's necessarily coming in with all that pre-planned. And I think maybe that speaks to how he's going to play the game. I feel here's what I see for Cody. I think he's going to win the first HOH, and he's going to target some big dog, and then it's going to come back on him, and he's going to be gone 3rd or 4th week. That's kind of the role I see for Cody. And that's just that's my prediction, but it could go a variety of ways.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about it when you said that. Is this a put on? But then, why would he be so otherwise boring? If this was a put on, why wouldn't he muster up a little more energy in some of these interviews? If he's really just trying to play the casting game still.
Right. I love the chat rooms Brent's just picking Cody for his body, isn't he? I'm like, yes, I am. That's what I'm doing.
I have other motives behind my Cody entry.
Yes, I know, right? Yeah, don't let Melissa in with me. I'm the only one shallow.
Yeah, I'm not interested in Cody that way. I'm interested in Cody because I am so confused by him. And I go from liking him to hating him to loving him to being eh. So I have no idea about him. And so I'm just so intrigued that I just want to follow him and give daily Cody updates on Twitter.
Joyously confused by him. I don't know. I'm just intrigued. And I want to know more, and it's not just a body thing. It's I really do I feel like there's something going on behind the eyes there. And I want to know more about it.
All right. I will say I am probably
yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
I think that Cody, whether or not he's a good player, will be very entertaining on the season. I talked about this on the podcast with Rob. I really feel like he's either going to be like Pauly in the first half of Pauly's game, or like Pauly in the second half, or both. And I think regardless of any of those options, it's going to be entertaining. So, even if he totally dominates the game and people hate him, I'm going to find that entertaining. So I'm excited to see what Cody does here. And I do think that, again, he does also have a knowledge of the game here, and he is very, I think, focused on winning, which is can't be underrated as a quality in a potential house guest here. All right, there is Brent's second pick. Melissa, here you go. This is the 8th pick overall. Who do you want to take here?
Well, I'm actually surprised this person is still available, because I kind of planned out my draft assuming that this person would be first or second pick. But I'll take her. I'll go with Christmas.
Yeah.
I
Christmas.
think a lot of people are kind of, originally people were really hyped on her and they were really into her. And then people started thinking, well, maybe she's too big of a target. Like maybe she's too big of a threat and people are going to vote her out right away. So people kind of sort of soured on her a little bit. But I really think that if she doesn't go right on out there with her whole I'm a fitness guru persona and kind of just sits back, because I mean, when she's just sitting there on the interview couch and is talking with people, like in the interviews we've seen, she just seems normal, personable, funny, friendly, kind of goofy, and also very pretty. So I don't see her as like a huge threat just right off the bat, unless she leads with her being like, I'm extremely athletic, I'm, this muscle person, I don't know. So I think that if she kind of keeps that on the DL, she could do, and like doesn't win a bunch of competitions straight off the bat, I think she could go pretty far. I think that she will have a great social game. I think that she's very easy to get along with. She made, the interview people laugh, and they seemed to have very flowing, easy conversation. And so I think she could go really far. She seems very intelligent. And yeah, I like her.
Yes, I was torn between Mark and Christmas here. I feel like they're in kind of similar spots where I think physically they stand out, but socially they're probably both very good. And the difference for me was I felt like Mark was more of a fan, but I do think Christmas does have a good shot here. I think that her biggest disadvantage is how physically fit she is. It's very obvious when you look at her, and that can be a hindrance if she does really well in the challenges. I think what she needs to do is go in there and lose a bunch and say, my physical fitness has no bearing on the competitions because I can't win anything anyway. I'm just somebody who's here, and like get over the fact that I'm very fit. And then I can start to play the game as somebody that's not a super big threat. That's what I want her to do. Obviously, that's not really what she's saying, so who knows? I'm kind of just hoping that she's bad at the competitions, because if she is, then I think she'll do well. If she's good at these competitions, I think she's going to maybe flame out pretty quickly. So I do have high hopes for Christmas. I think she can do very well. I'm interested to see where that takes her, but she does have some downsides here. Alex, what do you think about Christmas?
Yeah, no, I agree with all that. I expect her to do pretty well, at least probably make jury, but the way she flames out, if she's going to flame out, is by being like unwavering and like forceful in what she wants to accomplish when she's like, talking to people, because I think that's something that we've seen in the past. Like, it's not fair, but the strong, assertive woman ends up getting targeted by like a guy's alliance. You know what I mean? So I think that if guys end up coming together, Christmas could be an easy target by default, just because she looks like she could rally the girls. You know what I mean? So I think that's something to watch out for early. But if she's able to find a group and get in with people and it doesn't break along gender lines or anything stupid like that, then she definitely could go far.
Yeah, I also see, I mean, like, she does have some downsides in the fact that she's not a fan of the show. She doesn't watch the show. She couldn't really name a favorite player, which I found a little concerning. The fact that they asked her, who's your favorite player? And she couldn't even think of a name. But I don't know. I'm hopeful for her, but we'll see. She could go either way at this point.
Yeah, I agree with what Taran said about the fact that hopefully she's just terrible at these competitions, or that she gets a little bit unlucky and doesn't win them, and that she is not targeted because of that. Because if you are a woman who looks like she does and you come out and win a couple in the beginning, there's no way you're going to make it to the end. I mean, come on, you guys, you know what's going to go on. The one thing she did say is she did say that beyond the competitions, which she says are going to be easy, I don't know, we'll see. She says she's going to try to stay under the radar as a threat or a drama queen. The drama queen part, I think, will work fine. I don't think she's going to be one of those. But staying under the radar as a general threat in the game, I think, is probably going to be problematic for her. The other thing is that she talked about her lack of privacy in the Big Brother house and how she thinks that's going to be a problem. I worry about that for her. It's one thing to say it, but she seems like somebody who has basically, she doesn't need this game. Like, she has a couple of books out. She's done some obviously really cool things in her life. Like, I mean, not that nobody doesn't need $500,000, but beyond that, this is a lot of crap for her to deal with, coming in the Big Brother house and putting up with these people. So I feel like she might be trifled with really early, and that might get the better of her, but hopefully she's able to hold her tongue. She says she's going to be able to, but I'm dubious. But I was actually a little bit watching the fact that she was falling and no one had picked her, and I thought it was a little bit telling that she fell all the way to number 8. I don't think any of us are really all that thrilled with Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, and again, for me, it's just like, generally, if there's a fan over somebody who's not a fan, the last time somebody who wasn't at least somewhat like decently familiar with Big Brother won the game was Big Brother 12. Like, it was either a returning player or somebody who was a fan of the game that has won ever since then. And so I really think that, those people really do have a pretty decent leg up in the game in terms of strategy, in terms of win equity. So that's why I went with Mark over Christmas. But I do think that she has potential here. But Melissa,
Tax Bros, a lot of credit there. I'm just kidding.
well, I wasn't counting Canada.
I wasn't counting Canada. Yeah.
Yeah. Melissa, you have another pick here. So who are you going to go with?
All right. My next pick is going to be Ramses.
I
think he's a huge fan of the show, which also might be his downfall. We don't know. But I also think that that's good upside. He seems very easy to get along with. In all the interviews, people were, loving him, and he was cracking jokes and very easy to talk to. I think his age might hurt him because he's clearly the youngest one there. But I think that his personality might be able to help him along and carry him. So he seems he's very strategic. He's got, a whole plan involved. And I think that he could go pretty far with his personality. So.
Yes, and we are already getting questions in the chat. Yes, it is Ramses with an S.
Ramses, the great.
Yes.
The Pharaoh.
Ramses was probably going to be my next pick. I imagine he was going to be Brent's, given Brent's disappointed exclamation when you picked him. I agree with the age thing. I think that this is a slightly older cast, and he's a bit younger, and he seems a bit younger as well. It's not just that he's younger. He also very much exudes the young sort of vibe. So I'm not sure how that's going to play. I think it might not be too bad for him in the game, but in terms of winning the game in the end, getting the jury's respect, I think it's a lot harder for somebody that young to get the respect of an older cast. I think we saw that with Spencer in Survivor. So I'm not entirely sure about his win equity here, but again, he is a fan, and I think that's always a good thing. And I'm not super solid. What do you think, Brent?
I was going to say, I actually disagree. I feel like that the end part of the game is where he would excel, like, getting to the end and actually winning a jury vote. He's so infectious and so sweet and so nice. He's a young kid starting off his life. I feel like the jury would feel great giving him the money. They're like, oh yeah, we like him. It's like they did with Steve, and he'll be able to tell them exactly what he did. I think the hard part for him is actually getting there. Like, I feel like, from final 10 on, they're going to be looking at him like, we cannot let him get to final 6 if they're smart. And I feel like that, given the age of these house guests and the fact that there are some fans and some super fans in there, I do feel like that he might have trouble getting to the end. But if he makes it past, like, say, final 7 and the second double eviction on, write him the check. There's no way he's losing. All
right, Alex, do you have any thoughts here?
Yeah, Ramses with an S. I think he is going to. There's so much variance with him. Like, it could go so many ways. Like, I want to say I see Kevin Campbell upside, because I do, and I love Kevin Campbell. And if Ramses brings any element of what Kevin brought to the house, I would love that. But it just seems like I don't know that he's going to have the room to navigate that Kevin found. Like, Kevin found a lot of people he was able to work with, and I just this cast doesn't necessarily that was a cast where they specifically put. Like, half the cast was nerds and off beats. You know what I mean? Like, that cast was really tailored to someone like Kevin finding like-minded individuals to work with. And I just see a lot of jocks here. And I just don't know if that's going to be Ramses's, the people that he's going to be able to get in with. They just seem like they might naturally want to work with each other, and he's going to find himself in a tough spot. But if he's going to get in with people, I could see something working out where, the people who are down low, big fans of the game, like him, Cameron, Megan, some of these people coming together and actually forming something tangible while everyone else is operating under the illusion that something else bigger is going on. That's his best avenue for success, I think.
That would be really cool, actually. Yeah. I'd love to see that. A super fan alliance.
Yeah, I feel like his
Yeah,
best
well-
bet would probably be to act scared in the beginning and just say, look, I'll do whatever you want. I'll vote however you want. Just tell me what to do. I'm yours. So he basically needs to play like Steve, because a lot of these people are going to know. I mean, maybe a few of the super fans, but a lot of these people aren't going to know exactly how Steve played, which was intentionally to be at the bottom of the alliance, to be somebody who was just used as a number, who wasn't really involved in the decision-making process of a lot of alliance members. And be there as a number so that they don't target him. And if the alliance does get targeted, they're not going after him because he's not seen as the head of the snake. I'm sorry. I know people in the pack have been a bit of a detractor as far as Steve's specific gameplay, but I thought his gameplay was just perfect, and I love seeing it. I wanted to see if somebody else could replicate it, and I think it could be done.
Yeah, I agree. And again, I think this kind of player tends to do better than just the replacement level player without even trying. So I do think Ramses does have a decent shot here. But Brent, you have the next pick. Who you're going to go with?
Yes. Boy, there's some dregs here, let me tell you. I think I'm going to go with Elena Davies. I feel like that she's a bit of an old soul. I feel like she's going to do well in this specific part of the house, considering that like I said, the median age is a bit higher than normal, even though she is only 26. To me, especially with a little bit of a gray hue to her hair, it makes it seem like she's older than she actually is. And the other thing is the way she talks actually seems like she's an adult. She doesn't seem like a child to me. She seems like somebody who has lived a few years, and I really like that. Obviously, the fact that she calls out James Hewling as one of her favorite players, or that she likes, because he made the house fun. I feel like I'm a little worried about that. On the other hand, she was aware of the feeds, and she wanted to give us good feeds. So I'm here for that because I like my good television and I like my good entertainment. But I do. Here's the positive parts about her is that she's used to interacting with people on a daily basis and presenting herself well for her job, as far as being a radio personality. The negative aspect to me is that if she is a little bit too entrenched in how her normal life is and is not able to let down some of the walls and get to know people and is seen as a little bit too standoffish, I feel like that people might think that she's shady and target her.
Yeah, what do you think, Melissa?
Yeah, I mean, she was going to be my next pick. So I think she seems really easy to talk to, and like she'd be really funny and entertaining. I was a little concerned when she said that her personality can be very abrasive, because that might rub people the wrong way. She might not get along with people because, sometimes people don't find that sort of humor funny. And also the fact that she wasn't really a fan of the show, that kind of, I don't really like that either, or at least that she hasn't really watched the show. So that made me a little nervous about her, but I think overall her personality in the interviews seemed really great, and that she'd be really, just easy to get along with and wouldn't really cause big waves, I think, depending on whether her abrasive side comes out or not.
Yeah, I'm torn on Elena. I had her somewhat high on my list, my order, in terms of drafting. But when it came to it, I just kept skipping over her because I'm just not sure. She seems like the kind of person that I don't know. I feel like she might go early, and I'm not sure why. I'm just getting that vibe from her.
I could see her going early. I could see her going first.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you've got like Joey from BB16, and she was like, people loved her in the beginning, and they were like, before the show started, and they were like, she seems really fun to get along with, and like hilarious and whatever. And then she gets out first, and she's just like gone. So I could totally see that happening with Elena.
Yeah, like I'm not sure who she gets along with in this cast. I'm not sure how she fits in, and that's my major concern with Elena. What did you think, Alex?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think she may not have an easy time finding people to work with, and she isn't like necessarily coming in with a lot of knowledge of what to do. Like she seems like she kind of has some general idea of what she wants to do, but I don't think she'll have any idea about how to go about executing it. And I don't think that's something it's very possible she could learn the game on the fly. She seems like she's somewhat intelligent, but will they give her the opportunity to do that? Or will she be like, will she be under fire right away from whoever wins early on and like targets someone that maybe they're not, on a good, not already like well established and having a good relationship with. So I mean, I definitely could see her being in danger early, but then I could also see like if she's not, Like she could probably float pretty far. I have a hard time seeing her like really being a contender in this field. But we're at the point in the draft where it's like it's hard to find any of those people really.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say my draft, I have like a list of people, and my whole first column, we've already used everyone from it, and my second column, like they're all still left.
Yeah.
So we
Did
all
anyone
pretty
manage?
fast.
Did anyone manage to catch the remaining ones on her list? So
Not our
I
first.
tried to do it quickly.
Yeah.
Much
Much like Jason, it's not our first rodeo.
There you go. This is a tough pick here. There's not a whole lot of promising people left. I'm really not sure, but I think I'm gonna go with somebody. It is his first rodeo. It's Jason. He's not very familiar with the show. I don't think he's like necessarily the most strategic person, but he does seem very personable. I can see him just kind of like almost just kind of being like the wacky character that's like nobody really pays too much attention to him. Nobody really sees him as much of a threat. And I think there might be some like just maybe a little bit of intelligence there that we might not be seeing immediately. And I'm not sure. And I'm also feeling like, I've got 3 guys on my draft team now. I'm feeling like the guys are much more likely to bond this season than the girls, especially given what they talked about. So I'm kind of putting all of my eggs in one basket here, but I don't know. I'm not super confident in this pick, but I feel like, there's not a whole lot of other choices anyway.
He's a friend of Adam Pox.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
The legendary Adam Pock.
Legendary. All I see is legs and dairy. Okay.
I know because I talked to Adam. We have a side bet on which of our like acquaintances is going to go further. I like my odds.
I like your
my
odds too. Exactly. Man, this guy kind of bored me a little bit, but mainly it's just, I think it's more a reflection of the fact that Big Brother producers always put like one country person in the house, and this is the country person. The fact that he's into like cowboys and rodeos and things like that, I guess, like whatever. But does he have a strategy for winning the game? Answer:
Yes.
Yeah. That's it.
He
Yes,
does.
he does. The fact that I'm worried that he's relying on his storytelling ability. He seems to think he's just fabulous when it comes to that. But after a week or two of listening to them, I think people are going to be over it really fast. I do agree with Taran about the one positive thing about him is that he could get into some sort of a bro alliance. And as somebody who speaks with a little bit of an accent or a country, comes from the country with rodeos and cowboys and things like that, he might be seen as more trustworthy than other people in the house. And a lot of times people just give carte blanche to people who come from that neck of the woods and think, they're not playing the game that much. And the fact that he doesn't know the game at all probably will end up helping him. So I think it's actually a pretty good pick.
Yeah, I was.
Do you think he answered yes? Do you think he answered yes on strategy because he thought the game had already started?
I'm not telling you.
Yeah,
he went into like every interview saying like, yeah, I'm not entirely sure that it's like I'm definitely on the cast yet.
It's like, really? I really didn't
right now.
I didn't like that he was kind of like, it seemed like he was kind of bragging about the fact that he had never seen the show or like that he doesn't watch the show. It was kind of like, all right, well, at least pretend like you're like, you like the show at least. I don't know. Like, I don't like when recruits pretend like they're super fans, but I also don't like when people are like, oh yeah, no, I don't watch the show. So I guess I'm very hard to please and I'm never satisfied. But, I didn't like that. And I didn't like that he said that he was in it for the fame. I mean, that was probably like a joke, or at least I hope it was a joke, but he said he was in it for the fame. He's like, I mean, what rodeo clown isn't? It's like, what? Like, is that a stereotype? Is that something I should know about? But yeah, no, I don't know. I just was kind of frustrated with his interviews. I was like, really? So.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's in it for the quote unquote fame. Like I'm not looking forward to the kind of gameplay that he does essentially on the show. But I do think that, there's an off chance that he does well here. I think that he has a devious side in him. Like unlike James, where James thinks like, oh, I have to be honorable. I think Jason feels like the entertaining thing is to be devious, and if he is looking for airtime in that way, but he's also seen as trustworthy for most of the game, I don't know. I think there's some chance that he could be a decent player inadvertently. So that's why I've got him here. But Alex, you are next.
I was just going to say real quick, I could definitely see the scenario where, do you remember like in Big Brother 17, like the first half of the game, before they like even let the people who weren't watching feeds in on the fact that Steve was in the alliance with Vanessa and Austin and the twins. Like he was just not included in that on the show forever. So they didn't have anything for Steve. So they just had all these moments with Steve talking to the camera that were very quirky, that like just deviated from the strategy of the episode, just to be like, almost like a spoonful of sherbet in between courses. Like it was just kind of like dropped in the middle of actual scenes. So like I could see that this season where like we're having all these strategy conversations all over, and then it's just, like left alone to their own devices on the couch. You've got Jason and Kevin just like, what's happening right now? I don't know. Do you know what's going on right now? I don't know what's going on right now. Like I could definitely see that.
Yeah. Well, I could also see him being like an Amazing Race Jeff, where like he tries to run the season for the first 4 weeks, and then like gets blown out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I could see him doing that as well. I feel like he is going to try to play the game as long as he's given the ammunition to do so. It's just a matter of if that's the case, and I'm not sure it's going to be. But Alex, you do have the next pick, next 2 picks here. So who are you gonna go with?
That's right. Okay, let's go ahead and take Dominique Cooper.
All right.
Yep.
I feel like at this point we're scraping the barrel on Dominique. At least like if she were to find people who can work with her, like it's very frustrating. I'm sure she's gonna get in there and be like, really, the only minority in the entire field, really. That's pretty ridiculous. This is a really whitewashed cast, and it's pretty unfair. Really, especially if like, and I don't know, like Dominique lives in DC, so maybe she, has no issue with that. But I've always had an issue with like, let's like take someone out of like Inglewood and just throw them into a house with all white. Like, what the hell, man? You know what I mean? Like, you got to deviate a little bit. So, but I think Dominique, like, she works in Washington, man. She's gonna have no problem working with people. Like, she works just any government job. I think you've got to deal with assholes. You've got to deal with people you don't want to deal with all the time. I think that's going to serve her well. I think I could definitely see Helen upside, where like she's going to be so nice and just willing and giving, and just always like knowing that she has to do that because that's the role she's going to have to play if she wants to succeed, that people are going to keep coming to her. Like they're going to see her as more of like, and a motherly figure isn't fair given that she's 30. But like people, I think, will confide in her because I think she will be someone that you can confide in. And I think that's key. Like someone who is not going to just like go run your information all over the house. I think, she's clearly going to be paying attention and she's clearly got her head screwed on right. It's just a question of whether or not she can like find people who are willing to rope her in to like the initial kind of flow of information. Cause I don't know if like some of these guys are going to initially see Dominique and have that Jason thought of like, oh, no one would suspect us to work together. Let's do that. I feel like they're going to be more traditional and conventional and just think like, oh, I'm gravitating towards it. Like, we got beer the first night. These are the guys are drinking beers with me. We're playing pool. This is our alliance now. I could see that forming much more readily. And in that case, like, I think Dominique is, fighting a bit of an uphill battle.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'm a little concerned with the fact that she doesn't know the show. And when they asked her about her favorite cast member or whatever, she's like, are you trying to trick me? It's like, no, we just want to know that you've watched the show before. But I do think that she seems very friendly and bubbly and easy to get along with. And I think that she seems intelligent. So I do see like if she gets in with the right group of people, I think she could go far. But at the same time, like, I agree with you. I think it might be harder for her to find that group of people to fit in with. So, we'll see about her. I'm a little torn.
Yeah. I think she could be a quiet comp beast too, actually.
Yeah.
Possible. The thing that bugged me about her was that in her fun facts about herself, she was like, I'm not afraid to speak the truth, nor do I shy away from controversy. That sounds like a recipe for disaster in the Big Brother house. Like, are you really just trying to get targeted, or are you trying to piss people off? The whole thing about Big Brother is to be everybody's friend. You don't want to be anybody's enemy because anybody could get power at any specific time. So I don't know about this chick. I hope that she does well. It would be interesting to see. I agree with about what Alex said. By the way, I said something to Rob as a patron patron group. Rob has awesome patrons, the patron group, where I said this is a really diverse cast. What I meant was the ages, the life experiences of the people. Obviously, the fact that they cast one minority in a cast of 16. Well, besides, I know that one Black American in a cast of 16. For the record, Ramsey says he's not Black. He's actually Dominican. That's another fun fact about Ramsey's. If you think that's fun, I don't know, but whatever. But I do agree that she might have problems relating to some of these people because they just didn't cast anybody who looks like her, and I wish they would do more of that. On the other hand, as Alex correctly points out, working in government, you do have to get along with all people from all walks of life. I had to do that when I was in the military. You get to know people really fast because you have to work as a team. If there's a team twist this year, she might excel at that. But other than that, I don't know. I'm still dubious about her chances.
All right, Alex, you have another pick here. Who are you going to go with?
Oh, you're right. I do. Jeez. What am I doing?
So I'm going to be last pick, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great, guys.
Sorry.
Wow.
You got the first
You're
pick
welcome.
too.
Yeah, well, I don't like that order.
Then
I don't like this at
let's
all.
make sure we win.
Then you got to beat him then.
Yeah,
all right.
okay.
So who's left? We got Raven, we got Kevin, we got Jillian, we got Alex. Is that it?
We have Jillian,
Yep.
Raven, Kevin,
Yeah,
Alex.
there's 4 picks left, right?
Yes.
Jeez.
Some
Can I take the
things there.
speculative possibility of Paul?
Yeah, you either get Paul or you get no one.
Yeah, go
like
for it.
theoretical idea of Paul has more winners upside, I think.
Honestly, it does.
Yeah. Let's not do that. Let's not be that guy. I'll take Kevin. What the hell? At this point, I feel like I'm just, throwing darts at the board, nails at the dartboard. What was I going to say?
I'm
The
scared to
nail
play darts with you.
I'm just hammering darts in the nail board. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't think he's going to do well, but I don't think who's targeting him right away. Like, why would you? I mean, only if he's really disagreeable. Only if he really goes in there and just Mike Lubinsky's it up. And people are just like, oh, this guy's just not getting along with anybody. Let's just go ahead and get rid of him. It's so easy. That's the only scenario where I think he's really in trouble. Otherwise, it's like, why waste an HOH on this guy? Is he really going to be, he's going to go in there and he just seems so different. Like he's so quirky and the way he talks is like his stream of consciousness way of speaking is very interesting and I think somewhat off-putting. So I just feel like people aren't going to get him right away. And as a result, he's not going to have people to work with. And as a result, why would you target him? So I just think he's going to be lingering around for a while. And it's funny because I think like this back end of the draft, like not a lot of winner's equity, but we're really killing it in terms of like just in a row. You've got like, Jason and Elena and like we're just crushing it right now in terms of like drafting for America's favorite.
Oh,
But
yeah.
beyond that.
Well, don't you think that, like the fact that you were saying that Kevin might not be able to create an alliance with people or like have people to work with in the beginning, I don't know necessarily that will make him go further. I kind of see that making him get out very early because I feel like, first of all, the older player usually gets out really early. I mean, except for Karen. But usually the older player gets out very early. And also, I don't know if I necessarily see people being able to relate to him very well socially. And I think that in the beginning, you start to get out people who you don't really relate to or people that you don't really get along with in the house or people that aren't easy to live with. And I could definitely see him potentially being one of those not first, but maybe like first, second, third, whatever boot and not making it very far. Don't you kind of see that? I feel like I can kind of see that.
I mean, I feel like there's a way for him to win. If this is a must-win draft and he has to win, I mean, I feel like the only way for him to win effectively is to basically float his way to the end, not be a threat to anybody, get to the end with 2 somewhat threats to win the game who have played the game really well and backstabbed each other, 2 of whom don't want to take each other to the end, and we'll take Kevin and then get a jury that's a little bit bitter, and maybe they say, let's give it to the old man. I mean, that's the only way that I could see him winning. But aside from
what
that...
a finish it would be.
I know, right? That would be like Karen winning on Big Brother Canada, who I love, by the way. But yeah,
impossibly, a bottle of ketchup has won this season of Big Brother.
I mean, or he's like an older version of Derek, right? That could happen. Totally.
He's like, all right, guys, I'll get in here.
Yeah, I'm not super high on his chances to win. I think he's a likable guy. I think he'll be fun for the first week or so, and then people will get bored of him, to be honest. But I like him. I think he's cool. He's from around here. I think his daughters are pretty funny. I watched their video.
People made the Kevin comparison because the vest and the name, but honestly, like, I don't know. I kind of feel like he's like Time Machine Jason Roy more so. Where he's like,
Kevin?
This Kevin,
What?
yeah.
Oh no, that's like you're shitting on Kevin's name right now to compare him to Jason freaking Roy.
I think it's the accent more so. It's maybe the upstate Mass thing, but yeah.
Like I can't get through one podcast without Jason flipping Roy being brought up. Thank you very much. All right. Yeah, bye. Whatever.
Was that on purpose to like agitate Brent? Like I don't see this comparison at all.
I'm not agitated by him. I just apparently I agitate him. So, but I don't want to hear him. I'm like I thought I was done with him after BBOTT, but he follows me around like a disease or something.
Drama.
Oh my!
It was just the Mass thing, and then like I'm trying to remember. Wasn't Jason like didn't they make
Kevin
him
and
do a
Jason
Mass
Roy? Like, oh my god, I'm still like I don't understand that. Well, go ahead.
Don't see it. That's fine.
Yes, Jason Roy recently came for Brent's edges.
Yes.
And he got the Pee Wee Herman thing, and I feel like this guy looks like an older Pee Wee Herman a little bit.
All right,
I don't know.
that I can see. That I can see.
Just the shape of the face and like the hair. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. So there's Alex's pick, his final pick, which leaves me next, and I'm torn between two people here, but ultimately, I'll go with Jillian. I was torn between Jillian or Alex. I think people are underrating Alex. I think Alex has more of a shot than people are giving her credit for. But
now when Cody hears her last name is a victim noise.
You never know. My biggest downside with Jillian, again, her age. I think she's a little young for this cast. And I think it shows in her personality a little bit. But I do think, she knows the show a little bit here, at the very least a little bit. And I don't know, she seems personable enough. Again, I'm not sure who she's fitting in with exactly. She does want to align with the guys. I could see them pulling her in if they had like a guys thing. I think she has some upside here. People are saying I'm very down on Raven. I'm pretty down on Raven, unfortunately. I think she seems very cute, but Jillian, I feel like she's got some shot here. I could see her being somebody that like really just toward the end of the game decides to take her fate into her own hands and becomes like one of those like yes queens kind of thing. So I could there's some upside there, I think. Brent, how do you feel about Jillian?
Oh boy, this is the one person in the cast I didn't understand why she was here. I don't really know a lot about her. I mean, I watched her video. That's the funny thing. Melissa and I did a podcast about the women, and I watched all of her interviews, and now I've completely forgotten about them. Not
a good sign.
Yeah, I know, not a good sign. Maybe she look. Okay, here's the path for her to get to the end. She could be boring enough and put everybody to sleep. Sort of like Kevin, but without like all the fun stories, and people are like not threatened by her. Get to the end win versus somebody who like the jury totally hates. That's the only way that I could see her getting to the end. But I really don't see a lot of upside. In fact, I would have picked the other two people over her.
Ooh, how about you, Melissa? Would you have picked the other two? Well, I guess you shouldn't say.
No, I would have picked. I would have picked. Jillian was going to be my next pick. I think that she's very milk toast. She's very bland. She's kind of
milky toast.
No, it's an actual word. All right, whatever. Look it up, guys.
I've used it before. Yeah.
Anyway, she doesn't seem to have a strategy going in. She wants to play kind of a Christine game, which I'm not so keen on. But I could also see her being, very nice and friendly and very, kind of like a motherly figure to everyone. And like they would come to her for like advice or come to her for like, just to get away from like the drama or something like that. And I could see people gravitating towards her in that way to try and like have someone to go to when you don't want to be involved in like the house, like politics and drama. And so I could see her getting pretty far that way. I could also see her getting roped into some kind of alliance as a number, and then kind of turning it on the second half. I don't know, but I see potential in her, but I think she's very her interviews at least were just very forgettable, which I don't really like in a player. So we'll see.
I think I found a picture of her. Some milk toast. That's an
it
exclusive.
accompanies your milk steak.
Yeah, it's exclusive for the video
It's very
podcast.
It's so funny. I've never seen the chat room just go crazy over a word before. They're like, milk toast. I'm like, it's not milk and toast. It's milk toast.
Yeah, she
my
tastes
God.
like milk
It's just-
toasted. I don't know.
No, it's just one of those perfect like Homer Simpson words where no, it doesn't have a food connotation, but you're just like I was watching some episode the other day where somebody said melancholy and he just envisioned like a dog made out of cantaloupe. He's like melancholy. Like
Guys, it's also like it's not milk toast. It's MIL.
I told them. They're crazy. They are the chat room's.
Well, like milk toast. Oh God.
Well, hey, milky toast. That's an odd image to have in your head, and just like sneakerhead, sneakerhead milk toast. It's good. It's all good.
Yeah. Well, now we may remember Jillian. So.
Alex,
she's not fat.
do you like soggy toast? And if so, is it milk or water that you like your soggy toast in?
ooh, I mean, ideally it's an egg yolk, but
Ooh.
milk is the closest we're getting. So yeah, I'll go with the milk toast for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on Jillian?
Oh right, we're still doing a draft.
Oh yeah, we're not talking about food anymore.
I think she could potentially go far. Again, it's like a lot of these people down here towards the stretch, like they seem like they might be here for summer camp, and it's hard to know until we see them get in there if they're actually going to really try to play the game or if they're just going to like coast along. If she coasts along, she could go far and not win. If she goes in there and really tries to play, she could win or not go far. So it really, she's kind of falling in that category. I don't have a lot to say about her, I think, until we see her on feeds, just because she really isn't like giving us too much in the way of knowing how she's going to be interacting with people. I feel like she could say all the right things, but it remains to be seen like how things are going to work when she gets in there and if she's going to be overwhelmed by the nature of the game or anything.
All right, Brent, you have the next pick here. It is the final pick of the draft, even though Melissa will get the final player. Who are you going to go with? You've got the choice between Alex and Raven.
Yeah, I'm like, do I want to pick the absolute train wreck or just the sort of train wreck? Because like one would be far more fun to watch win. I'm going to pick, because she's just so flippin' nuts, I'm going to pick Alex. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm going to pick Alex because I want my team to be really fun. I feel like, look, I think there's a chance in the world this girl could win. I mean, probably not, but maybe there's some way where the alpha males take each other out and people sort of forget about her. And maybe she's not totally as annoying as she was in all the interviews that I watched. She did seem to have some fun, quirky sort of personality about her that maybe gets toned down a little bit once the rhythm of the house comes into play, and every day it's sort of boring and you just get sort of bored of listening to each other. On the other hand, if she's not able to bottle that infectiousness and that laugh, I feel like she's probably going to have a problem. She does seem to have at least a semblance of the way the game works, and if she knows to play to her strengths, which is to be unthreatening and sort of like the cuddly cute girl who really isn't going to come after anybody, I feel like that she could be looked over, and if she can get herself into the middle part of the game, maybe there's a path for her. Yeah, I'm trying to put lipstick on a pig.
I think that she could have been
the
nervous.
best visual ever.
I think she could have been nervous during her interviews. At least that's my like hope, is that she was nervous during all the interviews, and that's why she was so like flustered and talking so quickly and like not realizing that it's Jeff and all this other stuff. Like, I just feel like maybe she was just very flustered and nervous, and once she gets into the house, she'll be a lot more relaxed. But yeah, I could totally see her being first boot. But I could also see her just, toning it down and being very different from her interviews and making it pretty far. So, it's hard to tell with Alex, but we'll see.
Yeah. Alex is very milquetoast. No.
Yeah, she's the opposite of milk toast.
Yeah, she's the antithesis of that.
I think Alex is the kind of She's the kind of player I think she might be overlooked. As long as she gets past the initial target that she might put on herself, then she'll get overlooked as not really a person that's playing. But then if you give her any sort of leverage, I think she's going to start making moves, and people won't expect that from her. And I could see her pulling something a little like Natalie from last season, where like nobody really expects much from her, but then all of a sudden she's like given some power, and then boom, she makes some big moves. And I think people might be sleeping on Alex a little bit here. So
yeah, I was gonna say I forgot about Natalie. How quickly we forget. Last season, the three of us were talking about Natalie, and all of us were like, I think you and Alex had Natalie as the first boot, and I had her as like the second. Like, as you know, I thought that she would lose. Like a lot of times these interviews can be very misleading, so you never know who's gonna light up in the Big Brother house.
Yeah, Alex, did you have any thoughts on Alex?
Sure, of course. Yeah, no, I mean, for years, forever, even before I was podcasting, I always used to complain about like the horrible state of reality TV Alex's, like how bad they are. There's so many bad ones. I finally get spoiled with Alex Willett. I felt like she was actually intelligent and smart. And I'm like, oh, here's an Alex that actually understands what's going on. And then, of course, like they had to just bring me right back down with this casting. It reminds me of I think my best friend when we were like 5 or 6, he like couldn't say Alex, so he'd call me Owlix. So I just think about how hard this name would be for him. Owlix Owl. Man, I don't know. I just see her doing this. She's gonna do I hate to say it, but it's like she's gonna come in there like a bat out of hell. She probably will do the pow pow thing where she sits in a room for the first time with 3 other girls who's like, hey, Quattro, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, I really see her playing her way out fast. And I think we have more information on her than anybody because we actually saw how bad of a liar she is when she tried to play off to Big Jeff that she knew who she was. Oh, these glasses are nearsighted. No, they're not, you idiot. You just don't know who this person is, and we can all tell. You're a bad liar, and you're not winning this game.
Yeah, I think we should start telling everyone what liquid they are with toast. So I think she's like Mountain Dew toast.
Yeah, or like sriracha toast.
Red Bull.
And I think Red Bull toast. And I think that like maybe Cody is like Jaeger toast or like whiskey toast or something. And everyone, Raven is like strawberry milk toast. Everyone's with toast.
Nesquik toast.
Wow.
Nesquik toast.
Melissa Denny, toast expert.
Yeah, the official toast expert of Big Brother.
But yeah, don't get me started on anytime they cast an Alex that looks like they just have no potential. That's always just sticks in my craw just a little bit.
I'm really crying for you over this whole Alex thing, Alex.
It's never going to be a Taran.
I am so spoiled with all the Tarans in reality TV.
Hey, I'd rather none than them all bad. But Alex Willard broke the mold, so I got to give that up to her.
All right. So the final pick will be Raven for Melissa's team. Melissa, how are you feeling about Raven as your final team member?
I feel good about it. I think that she has a bubbly personality. She seems easy to get along with, maybe, depending on who she's trying to get along with. I don't necessarily see her, vibing very well with Cody, but you never know. I think that she's a dancer, so she's athletic. So she could do really well in the competitions. I think it depends how she goes into the game. She could either go in there super bubbly and over the top, or she could go in there just pretty toned down, and kind of go far. So I think if she goes in there kind of Bronte style, I'm going to be disappointed. I hope that she goes in and kind of flies under the radar for a while and, maybe win some comps later on and then does well. So, I'm happy with my last pick.
Yeah. Raven for me, I don't know. I just never got a vibe, like a winning vibe from her. I do think that she's definitely, again, sort of like the Natalie character where like maybe we're just not seeing it right now, but when she goes into the house, her personality is maybe a little different. And if given some power, she could make some moves. But I'm not really sold on her. Alex, how did you feel about Raven?
Well, I was never gonna draft her. I was always gonna leave her for someone else. So I think that says a lot. Like she's the one we know more than anyone was a recruit, because it was like even rumored that she might have been recruited for OTT. I think like this was somebody that like
I thought
think
she
like,
said she applied twice.
it was something where like her bio was
Right.
leaked at one point, and then like because I saw on Reddit people are like, oh good, they ended up giving her a chance anyway. Like she was one of these people where like the info came out and it seemed like it ruined her chance on a previous thing. So I mean, good for her that she got on, but I just feel like she's not a fan. She's like probably not gonna know what's going on in there.
She says she's been watching for a long time.
Everyone says that. If you think Cody's been watching every season since Big Brother 1, I've got an igloo
He
to sell
said
you.
no. He said that he pays attention when he, depending on if he likes the cast and if he vibes well with the cast, then he continues watching. Which I get.
Translation,
He's not a
can
dweeb.
say that I've seen, like I can be like, oh, I didn't see that, and you'll be like, oh, but he saw everything else. Like that's just such a cop out.
I think Cody has been watching. I think he maybe hasn't watched every season, obviously, but
This
I
guy's
do
way
think that
too
he's
dumb
a fan
to
of
be
the show.
snowing you like this, Melissa.
You know what? I think that he's the fan of the show. I think he is. I don't think he's anywhere near a super fan, but I do think he watches the show. I don't think he's just never watched the show. I think that he's watched the show. I think Raven's watched the show. I really do. I do.
There's only
We'll see.
room
We'll
for
see.
one alpha dog in Alex's heart, and that's Matt. And so he's gonna rail hard.
Matt
against
hasn't
Cody.
watched the show really. Like I'm the, this criticism applies there too. Matt was very upfront and honest. Like, yeah, I watched 16. Donnie was fun. It's like, all right, this guy hasn't watched the show. Where like I respect that. At least tell us what's up. I feel like Cody's gonna get in there and be like, no, bro, the winner of Big Brother 15 was Evil Dick, and like you guys are wrong about this. And I'm just gonna be like, yeah.
Something about Raven. She does have a condition, a digestion, I believe, sort of condition that will, I think, hinder her a lot in terms of physical competitions and in terms of what she's able to eat. I think that people aren't even sure if she's going to be able to eat slop. Because that may be too.
Again, like I think this is fake news. She seems totally fine and healthy to me right now. I mean, I know that she has to have her pacemaker replaced. And I'm gonna get really tired of hearing pacer power, #pacer power. But she seems totally fine right now. The condition is like gastrosteriasis or something like that. Basically, her intestines are paralyzed. They don't move food through like a normal person's intestines do. And it's something her mom and her brother have dealt with. So it seems like something she's got a handle on. And again, as I said on was it a previous podcast or somewhere else, where I can't imagine they would have let her onto the show if she's going to have special considerations for slop and being a have-not. I mean, unless your name is Frankie Grande, I don't think they really do that for you. So I don't know. We'll see. I'd be surprised though.
Yeah, Amanda from Big Brother 9's at home. Like, what?
Yeah. What?
You get that? I was hypoglycemic, you jerks.
All right, so those are the teams. Do we want to run through? Let's start with Melissa. Who do you have on your team? How are you feeling about it as a whole?
And
My
name them.
team is Jessica, Christmas, Ramses, and Raven. And I'm very happy about my team. I expected to get a lot worse. So because I had first pick. So I really think that I feel strongly about my team. I'm excited about it. I feel like this could be the year that I beat Taran. So, I'm excited and I'm ready to get started.
I will say,
All right.
as an avid fan of fantasy sports, odds are technically best when you pick first. Like for any fantasy
Really?
draft, your odds are technically the best to take the first overall pick.
Although
because
you
have
end
your
up getting
pick
the
of litter.
last pick. You end up getting like the dregs at the bottom. But
Well, and it works better for a sport like fantasy football, where it's like everyone's come to a consensus on who the clear number one is, and there's like we don't have enough information. You know what I mean? Like we could all be taking terrible people at the top of the draft, so that's the big difference. But,
yeah, so we'll see.
All right. We also need a name for your team, Melissa. So think about that. I do think that you have a pretty solid team here. I like Jessica. I like Christmas. Ramses, again, I think he has a lot of variance in terms of how he does. So I think this is a very solid team. I wouldn't be surprised if you came close to beating me and then lost, like everybody will. So.
Great. I was with you until you said that last part. Then you lost me.
Well,
yeah, I am. I could do what? Wait, what?
if everybody agreed with my picks, then everybody would do as well as me. So
That's true. Yes.
God, sorry. Okay,
If it wasn't for luck, I guess I'd win every time. So.
Melissa, do you have a team name here?
Come back to me. Let me think for a second.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
All right, Brent.
I have Josh, Alex, Cody, and Elena on my team. And I am living for my team right now, I have to tell you. Even Alex, I'm totally cool with. My team is #Team Jace. That's all their initials. It's JACE. So not like the Big Brother player. It's Team Jace. JACE. Josh, Alex, Cody, and Elena.
You're dooming your team to go out pre-jury. You're making them unofficial members of Shelltown. It's not good.
They go out 1, 2, 3, 4.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm here for it.
Alex, how do you feel about Brent's team? Do you think I'm not sold on him myself?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting. He's got a lot of high variance players. Josh is a big wild card, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, he is. So is Cody. Both of them are.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Alex, what do you think? What are your thoughts on your team here?
I like my team. I've got Matt, and I've got Megan, and I've got Dominique, and I've got Kevin, and I'm gonna be Team Silver Fox plus Dominique. That's my name.
Team Silver Fox. I like it.
So for the people on Reddit, like somebody always asks, like, what are the teams without listening to the podcast? What are the teams? And somebody answers, Alex's team is Matt, and Matt. And there's no reason for there to be any other alterations to those.
Because you know he's gonna win.
That's an all right team. Again, I'm not as high on Matt as I think as you are, but I don't think anybody's as high on Matt as you are. So,
shade.
Melissa, how do you feel about Matt's team? You might as well just call it Matt's team.
I think it's a good team. There's some people on there that I was gonna pick, so yeah, I like it.
Yeah, watch out for Megan there. I feel like
that was the one I was gonna pick. I have her way up here. But actually, and if you want to look at my notes, I have Raven pick 13 instead of 16. So I did get better than the bottom.
Wow.
There you go. See, first, that was a great pick
breaking
for you.
the bank on that one.
Yeah.
I was doing you a favor. I was trying to help you out, Melissa.
Oh, yeah, sure you were. I don't trust you anymore. You were my team coach, and now I feel like you're against me.
Never. I tried to let you pick the draft order. I tried to let you pick the draft order, and you told me I had to do it.
Yeah, but I feel like that was part of your plan. Sabotage.
She knows me too well.
You're like, Melissa, no, you go ahead and pick first, Like you didn't have something up your sleeve. I don't trust you.
All right. So my team is Cameron, Mark, Jason, and Jillian. And
terrible.
I like my team. I like them. They're nice. They're nice and boring. I feel like if I win this, everybody's going to hate both the season and the fact that I won again, which is usually what I go for, and it's a very successful strategy. So,
great.
I'm torn between Team Milquetoast and Team Still Undefeated because I feel like they're both pretty good and they're both pretty accurate. So let me know in the.
I feel like Melissa should be Team Milquetoast, but
that's true. She did come up with it.
Yeah. No, I think I'm gonna because my team's not Milquetoast, guys.
Okay.
I think that should just be the hashtag for the podcast.
Yeah, okay. My team. Yeah. I think my team name is gonna be Team Frankenstein because I am the doctor who's pulling together all various different people from different walks of life, bringing them together to beat Taran.
Okay, I'm here for it.
Right.
Only one person wins the game, though, right?
I'm creating a monster that's going to defeat Taran.
She's got a plan, Alex. Don't screw with her. She's got it.
Come on. Right. I've got this.
Okay.
Taran, you were saying your name.
Yes, I'll stick with team still undefeated because I do
think you have
think
to go with that. Yeah.
I think milk toast is a good one for the podcast. Hashtag milk toast. That's spelled MILKTOAST.
Has to be.
So I have a couple of questions before we end this. There's one I got from Love Tour Alex that I really enjoyed. Alex, since you know a lot about love and relationships, who do you see getting into a showmance?
Yeah, this is a good question for me. I'm gonna say we've discussed Matt at length, even more so off the podcast about how my friend who's a friend of Matt says like, oh, no way he's going all summer without sex. So there's a good one. You could probably pencil him in. I think other people who've talked about it, like, I don't know, Elena, I could see her getting into showmance. She's, going in there, just probably trying to mix it up and have some fun.
But who do you see pairing together?
Okay, right. All right, so let's do Matt and Jessica. Or no, let's do Mark and Jessica.
Yeah,
I feel like Mark goes for Jessica definitely,
but does Jessica go for Mark?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Jessica goes for Matt if she's thinking like I'm thinking.
Could be. Or I could see a Mark. Let's say a Mark, Jessica, Cody triangle thing that ends
Cody's
up ruining.
not gonna be bothered.
It ends up ruining Cody and Mark's games.
I feel like Cody. I'd be shocked if Cody got into a showmance. I mean, he just doesn't seem like he has time for it. But
his head is in the
You
game.
got nothing but time in there.
That's true.
Yeah, maybe you might be right. Okay,
By
well,
the way,
Matt's getting into showmance with Elena. I can see
I
that.
will have words with the Big Brother producers if they did not allow Cody to bring in those silky short marine shorts. I just want to say.
Yeah, we've got Brent and Cody in a showmance. Okay,
Yes.
got that.
Yeah. Or Christmas. I could see Matt getting into a showmance. Wait, Christmas is single, right? That whole thing about like how she's got like a proposed. Like save the date for September. That's like fake news, right?
I think that's fake news. Yeah.
Do we have can we explain this to the people who are very confused about this?
So you know how they do after the cast list comes out, the Big Brother fans turn into Sherlock Holmes and they go and dig up everything that these people have ever said ever in the history of their social media. Somebody found a Christmas Abbott like website that was like a save the date for a wedding in like late August, early September, like a time she's definitely, if she's playing well, supposed to still be in the house. Where it's like oh, you're not making your own wedding. But then she went in and she told Big Jeff she was single and ready to go. So as a result, like, I don't know what the deal is. Maybe she just forgot to delete the webpage and there was some like tumultuous breakup before she enters the house. I don't know. Will it affect her game? I have no idea. But there's a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, I think they called off the wedding. I think it was a broken engagement or something because the site itself doesn't seem to be very complete. So I think it was one of those things where they like started a site and like opened it up. And then just kind of
deposit back on the ring. Yep.
Yeah. That's so sad and awkward. But I don't think it's that she's trying to trick people into thinking that she's single going into the house. I really do think that she's single. And that's why she's like kind of awkwardly answering it because probably they recently broke up.
Yeah. Victims aren't we all?
So true.
All right, so there's our podcast for you. We'll see who wins at the end of the summer, and when it's me, we'll all cheer.
Will we though? No. I feel like you'll be the one cheering.
I will cheer,
for yourself.
And I will hear everyone else cheering with me as I cheer.
Well, I have to say though, if I don't win, I want Taran to win so that we can have some like we can have an angle for the next one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then he has to keep wearing his lucky Colonel Mustard shirt at every draft.
I mean, the great thing is, even if I lose, my record is still really, really great.
Oh,
so,
my God. I take back everything I just said.
All right. So do you guys have any final thoughts before we close out this show?
Nope.
Feeds on.
No, we
feeds
don't.
on Thursday. Show on Wednesday. Yep. Get hyped.
Yes,
Yay.
and we will be doing some morning updates on the feeds this season.
That's right.
We are going to explain everything that happened on the previous day. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be like little quick updates. You can just pop on 15 minutes, 20 minutes, who knows. And
an overnight recap.
Yes, it'll be a lot of fun, I think, and very informative, hopefully.
Yes.
So it'll really allow you to keep up with what's happening, so you know everything that's going on, and you can really follow along really well. We also we finished an audiobook. Me and Rob, we did Big Brother 2, but first a Big Brother 2 blockumentary. It's been amazing. I've loved the response. It's been so much fun to record, to hear everybody talk about it. We went through Big Brother 2. We talked about all of the episodes. We went through Dr. Will's legendary game and discussed it in great detail. And you can find that on RHAP-ups.com. I'm seriously so proud of it. So please check that out if you have any interest in that. Hopefully if it does well, we'll be going on to some further seasons, and that will also be a lot of fun. There's a lot of other stuff that I want to be able to talk about. So check that out. And we also have a new blog, I guess we would call it, on RHAP-ups.com. Matt Ligori, our good friend, who we often stay with in New York, has started a power rankings blog. He has released the first of which he did with Liana. He's going to have a new guest every week, and he's going to go through the cast and just rank them by power.
Yeah, I read that actually. Melissa, both Matt and Liana had Jessica ranked really high. I think it was like 1 and 2. So like they both really like Jessica as well.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There it is. They had a Reddit post about them, and people were like, "Matt, you're crazy," which is what I say to him every time he used to send those to me, and I would go, "Matt, you're crazy." So I'm so glad that other people are on board with this.
Yep. He's just broken in and established himself in the Big Brother community, and he's already receiving all the negativity. Which welcome to the club, buddy.
Welcome
You
to the
made
club.
it. It's official.
Seriously.
It's for real
So
now.
much negativity.
Here's the thing. He is crazy, but I think he has some interesting takes, and I think
Like a
it's
fox.
fun. Yeah, it's fun to see like the way that he sees things. Because I mean, he's always obviously, if he's not agreeing with me, then he's obviously wrong. But it's very fun to see him be wrong. At least it has been for me. So if you check that out, let him know. Yeah, check that out. I just came back from Vegas. We went to the American Ninja Warrior finals, had an awesome time. It was seriously so much fun. I got to meet some really cool people, including some Japanese athletes. That was really fun.
Just out of curiosity, what was this for? You were in Vegas. Was it for the final? No, it's not for the finals, right?
Yes.
Was the finals?
Finals of everything, yes.
The finals of everything. Oh my God. So you know what happened. Oh my God.
I do. I know everything.
Oh, okay,
yes.
cool. All right, cool. Excellent. Well, yeah. Sorry.
Yes, and we will be releasing some podcasts. So when we do have the finals podcast, which is the best part of the show anyway, we will have firsthand experience about our experience there. We also just recorded a podcast with none other than Rob Sesternino about the celebrity special that will be coming out very soon. So keep an eye out for that. That was a lot of fun. We just did a really quick episode with Rob where we basically just had a lot of fun and made fun of the celebrity edition of American Ninja Warrior that Rob and I attended in LA in I think March. So yes, check that out. It's a lot of fun. I'm really happy with the Ninja Warrior stuff that I've been doing recently. So
Taran, I have a question. What aren't you doing these days? No, I'm just
Not a lot.
That's just me throwing shade. I do have one thing I want to promote, which is Liana Boris, Mike Bloom, and I recorded our thoughts earlier today on the RuPaul's Drag Race grand finale, and it was buzzworthy. I was gagging the whole time. It snatched my edges, and I am not kidding about that. I had a lot to say about it. It was a really long podcast, actually our longest of the season, and please check it out.
All right, Alex, you're still doing Fear the Walking Dead, right?
That's
Good
right.
season.
Yeah.
Good
Going
season.
over to Rob's tonight. We're gonna watch it and we'll record it in the studio. And yeah, it's been good. They've really this season's been a lot of fun, and it's actually like a solid like story that's being told as opposed to like just a sequence of scenes, which I am appreciative of. So yeah, I'm really liking it. I've always liked that the Walking Dead franchise. I'm a fan of the comic books and stuff. And me and Rob, we have a lot of fun on those podcasts. So yeah, feel free to check those out. Postshowrecaps.com. It's where all our scripted content is. It's the sister division of Rob Has a Podcast. And yeah, we got a lot of big stuff going on over there. Game of Thrones coming soon. So yeah.
All right. So yes, you can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Armstrong Taran. Alex is at Alex Kidwell. Brent is at One Lucky Gay, and Melissa is at It's Melissa with 3 A's. Tell us all about why you think our draft teams are terrible, and hashtag with our team names, to support whichever team you like, and decry the teams that you hate. And again, you can find us on robhasawebsite.com. You can subscribe to us with the Big Brother feed for robhasawebsite.com on iTunes as well. So for Brent, Alex, and Melissa, I am Taran Armstrong. Hashtag milk toast. We will see you next time.